Hi, welcome to HeKate's Crossing. I was watching Tarot for Heathens video in regards to tarot and oracle decks for chakra work, and I saw how she's looked at different decks for each chakra, but it sort of made me sort of think about what tarot decks do I actually use that are specifically for any type of chakra work, decks that have a whole picture. And of course, for me, to start with, let's look at the tarot decks I have, as there's not that many. It's just a couple here that I feel are really decks that I could use for chakra work. For me, if I'm looking at chakras as an overview, wanting to get a little bit more in depth with the chakras, of course there's Tony Hartman's Chakra Wisdom Tarot, which I think is an absolutely awesome deck to work with if we're working with the chakras individually, or if you're not quite sure what chakra you actually want. And what do I get pulled out? The King of Wands and the Five of Swords. Again, it's about communication and third eye, so it's definitely about the truth. How do I express my personal truth? It's interesting, isn't it, with what we're talking about here. So this is what works for me. So this is one tarot deck I use, which really specifically works for all chakras in some way, and it's just whatever comes out. Now, another deck I find which works really well with chakras, and I think if you're going to do any sort of chakra work, you want a tarot deck that uses an assortment of colors. And so, like, not for me personally, this is what works for me, is about looking at a deck that has a range of colors that I find stand out specifically when doing chakra work, and one of those is actually the Starman Tarot. Okay, the Starman Tarot for me will have colors that might sort of, when you're looking at the cards, if you're looking at a few in a spread, there might be certain colors that specifically stand out in that moment, and that could be the chakra that you're actually wanting to work with. So it could be about the heart, opening up the heart, could be about seeing the truth of the situation, maybe connecting to divine awareness, making sure that you're able to communicate clearly. There could be a lot of healing going on. So when you look at these cards, it's sort of, the colors speak volumes, and there's a lot of decks that will do that. There are a lot of decks that will do that specifically. So I think those are the two tarot decks that for me that are specifically can work with sort of any sort of chakra, really depending on what you need. It sort of shows what might be important. Now, other decks that I think are really important, of course, is crystal, any sort of crystal deck. If you're working with chakras, they are an awesome way to work with assorted chakras. And also got the Crystal Alley cards here, which are done by elements, and then your crystals, and they give you affirmations, and they're working with your chakras. The book goes into a lot more detail with the way that you can use those for healing, for divination, in so many ways. Then you've got Crystal Alley cards, anything like crystal cards by Tony Carmen Salerno. I've written little keywords on the cards here. They're a great deck for working with specific crystals with your chakras. Again, the colours can speak volumes to you and can really help with those messages. So I think that's a really good way. And the other one is a Crystal Grid Oracle by Nicola McIntosh. I reckon this is a really good deck if you're working with the chakras. Again, you've got your range of colours there, working from your maybe not so, they've got black instead of reds. If you want to sort of, for me, that's sort of the base, the repelling negativity, the sense of your chakras. We do have the tangerine quartz there. So I think this would be another deck that you could use for working with chakras as well. So any sort of crystal oracle deck would be suitable for sure. I think that's a real bonus in regards to that. Now there are some decks that are made specifically for working with chakras, and in this case for me it is Sue Nicholson's The Butterfly Guiding Light Oracle. They are specifically working with chakras. Comes with a really good book which explains a little bit more, but as you can see here, you've got your reds, your blues, your orange, purples, yellows, green. So yeah, this is a really good deck to use for your chakras as well. Again, depending on how many cards you pull out and the color, it gives you a little bit more information. Maybe you've got a chakra that sort of stands, a chakra that needs a bit more healing or a bit more work involved. It certainly gives you that feel in regards to that. Okay, I think another deck here also that works really well with the chakras is the Dragon Oracle cards. Now you'll get that with, there's many Oracle decks that will have different colours here, and these are actually to do with the different dragons, but again you could use those colours in regards to chakras. Again, any sort of Oracle deck that I think has different sort of categories, different feelings in regards to their theme, can be used in regards to chakras. I think it's a really good way to sort of feel your way through the chakras in some way. So I think the Dragon Oracle works really, really well by Diana Cooper. Now there may be other decks that you find more suitable. Now what I did do for myself, if you're working with chakras, there's several ways in some of my own decks that I actually created available through Make Playing Cards, except for a couple that I made for myself, my digital art and my photos. This is a deck that's sort of 2 decks in one. Now I could order it for you and get it delivered to you. Oops, the animal cards are there. So this to me was a deck. It's got photos, which has got chakra specific colours in there, and then it's got my digital art, and of course when depending on what comes out in the spread, maybe a colour stands out in particular that could relate to a chakra. So yeah, you could use these decks here. A really great way to working with chakras and finding your own interpretations. Of course, there's no set rules for what the cards could mean. Now, another deck that I made specifically is the Spirit Nature's Oracle here, which is photos that I have duplicated and, oh, I didn't see that one before. Ooh, that's like a very sort of devilish to the heart image. I find with these cards the images sort of seem to change as you move through them, but again could be related to your chakras depending on what sort of colours come out strongly within the imagery, the messages you get. Something could sort of hit you in regards to so yeah, any of these sort of images. So that's Nature Spirit's Oracle, available through Make Playing Cards, of course. You'll see the link down below in my video or on my channel. So that's definitely a deck that you could use working with your chakras. The other one is Vesta's Art Oracle deck. Again, you've got keywords on here, but again with the digital art, the colours may speak to you about your chakras depending on what sort of stands out for you when you do a layout with the spread, what words stand out, what message just seems to be relayed as you sort of move through these cards. So this is Vesta's Art Oracle deck, again, photos or digital art that I created myself. You can cut the borders off if you want to, do whatever you like. I did the borders because I'd already done the words on the cards, so it was the only way to sort of keep them without losing the words. So that's that one. And then the last one I've got here is the Vesta's Art Love Oracle. Again, with the colours, the digital art, you might find colours sort of stand out when you do a spread, and so again it could speak to your chakras in some way. So I don't have decks that are specifically for any particular chakra, decks that I might find grounding, or decks that are connecting to the divine and all those sort of things. I do have those decks, but I sort of looked at it as decks that I could look at if I wanted to explore my chakras further, find out what chakra I might need to actually work with, how do I dive deep into my chakras, and I felt these were the decks that did that for me. So yeah, so wanting to explore further into chakra work, there are some great videos. Tarot for the Heathens, I definitely recommend her videos in regards to working with the chakras. She may give you a little bit more information, of course. So anyway, that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links below, check the links on my channel, like, subscribe and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.